The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. Let's see, we got a couple of emails here. I'll mention this one first. Why the dislike for Steve Orlando? He's a great writer. There's actually no subject line. It's just very minimalist in approach. Like Steve Orlando's writing. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't have a deep dislike for Steve Orlando. I like to joke on this. I don't know what more can be said here. Commanders in Crisis I thought was terrible. Just a story. It's just that's it. There's not really much more to say. I don't think much about Story with Steve Orlando. I don't think he's a great writer. But I do like to joke about it. I mean, look, just be patient, and if this channel is still around in 3 months, I'll be taking shots at someone else in a fun way. But definitely not somebody with a super thin skin that's going to lose their mind over it. Let you read into that what you want. All right, here's the actual mail we're going to do. Here's a nice big mail. It says, hopeful for the future of comics and the movies based on them. All right. Heidi ho, Mr. Perch Perchington. Yep, Heidi ho. Is it really a bad thing when you have a writer that sticks to their area of expertise? I would say no. I'd say that's a smart writer. But anyway, I know Bendis used to write some impactful stuff, but these days his comics just aren't doing it for me. That's fair. Pardon me. And according to the sales, I'm not alone. Tom King is another one that seems like he has one trick. The trick being the subversion, of course. Bad deconstruction. Yeah, sure. Leah Williams pumping out more generic rom-com garbage in Power Girl. How they chose that backup over Jurgen's Young John story, Lois and Clark 2, for an ongoing is beyond stupid and will end up a limited series by the 4th issue. Probably. And I think why they picked it over Jurgen's story is that Jurgen's didn't want to do more, or it wasn't offered. I don't know. You got a bunch of Marvel people flooded over to DC, so it is what it is. Teeny doing her level best to tank Catwoman and possibly Zdarsky now that DC tied that chain to his wrist. And by the way, I don't know. Maybe this is a controversial opinion. I think Zdarsky's Batman kind of sucks. I did not enjoy Failsafe. I thought the tied back to Zin Ah and kind of what he's going through. I don't know. I'm kind of baffled by this run. I liked what he did on Daredevil, and I think it's been fun. Although I think that one too, like from where it started to where it's ending, I just don't think it's anywhere close to where it was. And Batman, I'm not getting the hype on Batman. I feel like this is a very, very bland run overall. So that's just me. I think the whole failsafe thing was, and then the multiversal doing something else. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. Not enjoying it. Anyway. Then we have V, Porter, Adams, Wade, Williamson, Philip Kennedy Johnson, and last but not least, Jurgens, killing it every month trying to really tell stories. But the stupid fucking events they'd all announced sound absolutely pointless and very clearly filler crap because they didn't have any ideas again. I think we're talking about the Night Terrors event, maybe? Anyway, now we're stuck with Williamson running another event, likely by himself, when we all saw how well that worked for Dark Crisis or Infinite Earths. On Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's infuriating how they can never leave well enough alone. So in short, if I'm summarizing your point, we have some writers that are doing kind of good, solid stories, but we're messing them up to kind of toy with them and do events and other things. So that's fair. That's fair. Not trying to get into Marvel, but I am looking forward to Ultimate Invasion and the line of comics spinning out of that. Good. I do find Hickman's stuff to be very entertaining, and I don't mind that he has his style and sticks with it, as I don't notice while I'm reading Decorum or Hoxpox. In other words, spreadsheets. Hickman, at some point, if you're truly the kind of master writer troll that sometimes I think Hickman enjoys being, he has to write a comic, and it's like one page of like panels and art, and then spreadsheets and graphs. So the entire rest of the comic, just to see if Marvel will print it for $5.99. I want to see it anyway. Fingers crossed, he picks the writer's room for those new Ultimate comics better than he did with the X-Slacks. I mean, I don't know. Sure. Relating it to the movies, though, if you even want to read this far, why wouldn't I? Guy Ritchie, John Woo, and Robert Rodriguez made some very entertaining action movies while not all feeling exactly the same. Yeah, Robert Rodriguez also did a little bit of horror and then went on to do Spy Kids as well. I'm surprised that more people don't know that Robert Rodriguez did like what Shark Boy and Lava Girl and Spy Kids. If you ever watch like the deleted scenes, which you can find on some streaming stuff for Spy Kids, Rodriguez like talks about how he films like home movies and uses sound effects and other things to like dramatize like his kids when they're like 2 on trikes. It's both endearing, touching, heartwarming, and amazing all at once. I definitely recommend looking at that stuff. Rodriguez is a pretty amazing filmmaker. But anyway, all right, here we go. Wes Anderson and John Hughes made it work for them, but I can see why a Whedon, Snyder, or Takia, oh yeah, make it all seem like a bad thing. Then you factor in the house style at Marvel Studios and homogeneous feel to everyone. Everything is getting mostly lambasted of late, regardless of the director. Okay, I'm not sure what that was meaning to say. They're definitely trying to avoid that moving forward. That is, if you could take Feige at his word. Gunn is saying the right stuff too, regarding trying to get a fresh take on a superhero movie. Guardians managed to somewhat reinvigorate my interest in comic movies, so I'm hopeful for the future as well as comics. All right, it's kind of more of a statement than a question. I'm not sure what the question was. Why do they keep doing this, maybe? All right, P.S. Everyone go pick up Action Comics, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, World's Finest, Deadly Duo, and Superman. Those are my must-reads right now. Hope your spirit's been up, man. I've had you and your family on my prayers. Thank you. Glad to see Joe back on the channel. Me too. It's always fun to have Joe back on the channel, and definitely there will be more for him. I mean, look, so I'm not sure where the question was in there, but I really appreciated your thoughts. So just the overall kind of commentary on comics, very cool. Like that, all good, and definitely appreciate all that. Look, overall, I think there are people that just kind of write what they know, and it gets to be kind of a one-trick pony, for sure. I think the trick of, in theory, a good editor would be to line up the right people with the right products. I don't think there's anything wrong with being really, really good at one thing and not at other things. I think it's only bad and dumb if you start putting the person who's really good at one thing on things that make no sense for them to be good at. This is not a great example, but Brian Michael Bendis had a reputation for doing really good street level heroes, and that he had a good mechanism to that. I'm not, for what it's worth, my opinion, I don't necessarily agree that was his strong suit. But I think the problem with Bendis is he got very formulaic with his dialogue. His dialogue got to be the style, and it took over everything else: the story, the art, everything. The dialogue became everything that was, and very kind of Alan Sorkin level kind of style of performance. Similar problems to what Sorkin fell into. But I think that if you put Bendis on some street level books and you let him do his thing, you probably have a pretty solid level comic. I think that the trick is figure out what somebody's really great at, and then steer them into that, and reward them for it. There's this whole thing in Hollywood and in writers about being typecast. So you don't want to be known for doing just the same thing. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is do that one thing amazingly well, and you'll be rich, and people will love you. They lean into what you're amazing at. I think there's some honesty, some truth to that. Leah Williams is really great at showing her boobs. No, I'm kidding. Well, mostly. I think that's where that's the right thing to do for people. I don't see a problem when writers just stick to what they love, what they do best, and what they know. And I think that it's a dumb hater who comes at them with like, yeah, but you always write the same thing. Well, if the same thing is brilliant, great. Keep writing the same thing. If you as a writer really want to expand and do other things because creatively that's what you want to do, that's your call. But I think if you're amazing at something, you keep doing that thing and make all the art and brilliance you can. And I never have a problem with that. I think a lot of problems in comics actually came up from people being forced to bounce around and do other things. And, don't. Like, if you get a great writing team, a creative team on a book, you keep that thing going as long as you can. Get the Mark Grunwald Captain America 100+ issue run. Do it. I'm not sure if did he actually get 100 issues out of it? Anyway, what do you think? Do you think people should expand, do other things, get into other jobs, and it's important for them to bounce around, or are you just happy if people stay where you are? Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.